I thought that I had a solid stock strategy until I realized that my charts were missing key data points that could have made or saved me thousands. TC2000 promised to fix that, so I tested it for months, thinking that TC2000 stock screener would be different. But instead, I discovered something entirely new, which changed how I trade. Now, before the new discovery I made while using TC2000 to find better trade setups, I did what any skeptical trader should do first. I went through the reviews for it, and not just the 5-star praise of the whole thing. I'm talking about the kind of stuff that usually hides the biggest red flags. And I came across a TC2000 review where a user reported a major issue that caught my attention. He said that while TC2000's charting capabilities are great, the platform doesn't come with live data by default. Instead, you need to pay extra, about a 50% bump, to get access to real-time data through their gold level subscription. Now, that is pretty frustrating if you're expecting it to be an all-in-one right out of the box. And honestly, I get that. No one likes surprise fees, especially when you're trying to stay lean as a trader. But here's the thing. I looked into this more closely, and it turns out that the data fees are pretty common across the board. Whether it's TradingView, eSignal, or TC2000, most platforms separate charting from real-time data. So yeah, you'll have to pay for the data feed, but it's not some shady upsell. It's standard industry practice. And if you use a credit card for sign-up, worst case scenario, you could do a chargeback if something really went sideways. But to be clear, I don't see that happening here. Now, on the flip side of TC2000 reviews, many users actually became very profitable by using TC2000. One trader shared how he's managed over $43 million in portfolio money and still prefers TC2000 over every other tool he's tried, including the ones offered by brokerage firms. He said it's powerful, reliable, and incredibly adaptive. That was encouraging enough to hear, especially since he was specifically mentioning using technicals like momentum, Dow theory, and MACD histograms directly within TC2000. I also came across another TC2000 stock screener review from a trader who's been trading for almost 20 years. Said he's owned many of the top stock analytics software platforms, but TC2000 was the one he's stuck with. According to him, the newer updates have made it even more powerful, and he feels like it gives him a real edge. He described it as a tool that's only limited by how trained the hands using it are. And I felt that. That's exactly how I felt after getting used to it. So, while there's one or two hiccups here and there, overall, user sentiment reflects what I personally experienced. It's not just another charting tool, it's something you can actually build your trading edge on. And after hearing all of that, reading through all of the reviews, I just needed to see what made TC2000 actually stand out from other stock screeners that I've used in the past. And the first thing that caught my eye when using it was the depth of company fundamental data. TC2000 tracks nearly 70 fundamental data points for US stocks. And this is not just fundamental level stuff. We're talking about everything from revenue growth and return on equity to debt ratios and earnings history to a lot of other stuff beneath the hood. So for me, having this kind of detailed info in one place without needing to flip over to Yahoo Finance or another website, this was a massive time saver. But what really made this useful was how the data is layered into the charts. So I could see the actual fundamentals overlaid with the technicals. So instead of switching screens or losing my flow, I was seeing how a stock's fundamentals matched up with its price action, right there, live. Alright, next up I want to talk about something else. So this is something that I found pretty unique, the and scan sections. If you've ever tried to build a screener with multiple conditions, you know how clunky most platforms can get, but with TC2000, building a custom scan with precise and logic is dead simple. I was able to set up a scan that pretty much showed me everything I wanted to see. I was able to see the growth trading above their 50-day moving average, and it was showing a bullish MACD crossover. All those conditions ran in real time, giving me results instantly. Unlike platforms like eSignal, where you often have to write formula scripts or toggle through menus, TC2000 lets you do all of this with a couple of clicks. It's just more streamlined. And for someone who doesn't want to spend hours configuring scan settings, that's a win. Another feature that stood out is something I didn't know I needed until I used it: true return scaling. So this tool lets you compare a stock's actual price movement against the S&P 500 in a visual, intuitive way. You get a slider to adjust volatility sensitivity. So when I tested it on high volatility tickers, it gave me a totally different perspective. I could see how each move compared to the broader market. That meant I could spot stocks that weren't just moving, but outperforming. That kind of insight helped me zero in on the potential breakout plays. And if you like technical indicators, you'll love the detrended price oscillator. This one strips away the long-term trend and shows you peaks and troughs in price action. It was incredibly helpful in timing short-term entries, and when I paired it with other momentum indicators, I could literally see the rhythm of the stock, when to buy, when to stay out, and when to take profits. Then you've got the Worden T2 market indicators. Now, most people stick to the usual indicators like RSI and MACD, but TC2000 takes it further. It tracks things like the percentage of stocks hitting new highs versus new lows, and how many are trading above or below moving averages. Basically, it gives you a bird's eye view of general market health, and that helped me avoid jumping into trades when the broader market was weak, even if one stock looked pretty strong. And one of my personal favorite features is the integrated brokerage services. You can place trades directly from within TC2000 brokerage. Now, yeah, it routes through interactive brokers, and you do pay a bit more than using IB directly, but the fact that I could scan, chart, and execute a trade all in one place, that was a pretty big deal for me. No switching tabs, no delays. Compared to other platforms like eSignal, which, by the way, has a steeper learning curve and can feel overwhelming, TC2000 software offers a more user-friendly, all-in-one ecosystem. I didn't feel like I had to choose between power and simplicity. It gave me both. Now, is TC2000 perfect? No, no platform is. The one downside I noticed personally, and it's really more of a heads up, is that the learning curve is still there. Even though it's more intuitive than eSignal or some other platforms I've tried, you're still going to need to spend a few hours figuring things out. But again, that's just how most platforms work these days. Once I accepted that, it didn't feel like a big deal, and honestly, I'd rather learn a powerful tool than waste time on something that's easier but less effective. And when it comes to pricing, TC2000 is reasonably priced, especially when you consider how much is packed into just one platform. It might feel a bit steep if you're, just a hobby trader just testing out the waters, but if you're serious about leveling up your strategy, I'd argue it's more than fair. Compared to competitors like eSignal, which charges more and still doesn't feel as smooth to use, I think TC2000 really hits that sweet spot of power and affordability. Personally, I also like the interface better, and I'm paying less for what I feel are more trader-friendly, usable features. I've included a link in the description below where you can check out their full pricing. I'll do my best to keep any promos or discounts updated there too, so be sure to check that out. And after putting TC2000 through plenty of real trades and real setups, I can say this: it helped me find better entries faster with less noise and more confidence. If you've been struggling 5 different tools to do a single job, TC2000 might be the upgrade you didn't know you needed. Check the link in the description of this video to get started with our special discount and coupon.